What we're going to do today is we're going to make some plastic lead nuts, or Delrin lead nuts in fact. The one that I made for the x-axis was a placeholder. It was made from HDPE. So here is the plug that was in the x-axis lead screw lead nut place. So basically I need to make a lead nut that's around about that size. It's got to be that dimension exactly, which is, if I remember correctly, 28 mil. And I can deal with various lengths. I think I'll probably go for about 2/3 of that, and then there'll be a slight plug that goes in to hold the rest. So we'll get on with that. A friend of mine's given me some Delrin, so that's handy. And you'll see what we're doing when we're making ever nuts, which is not rude. Right, so lopped off a little chunk. This is Delrin, or it's an acetal. I'm not quite sure what the conception of it is. It's an engineering plastic. The stuff's great. It's really nice to cut compared to polyethylene, which is what I was using before, HDPE. Yeah, it's lovely to cut. It machines really well. It's self-lubricating, and it's the dog's bollocks as far as these things go. And on top of that, it was free. So there you go. So we're going to face one end off, then face the other end off, and then we'll see what we can do about drilling a hole down the middle of it. Right, 16 by 4, so we're going to need to drill this out at 12. First thing to do, now we go through at 7. Probably specific geometry for stuff like this. Don't know what it is. Drop the speed down. There we go. So, power on.
Thinking about having a hard time. No, can you go to it? No.
Said this stuff's lovely, it machines beautifully. Right, so there we have it. Got my Delrin cut in half. Torture gas. What we're going to do is going to heat up this piece of all thread, which is the other piece of all thread we're going to use. It's the end we're not going to use because we don't want to totally knacker it. And as we do so, we'll put some heat in here nice and gently. And as we do so, we're going to tighten up the vice jaws. Okay, bit of stripping it down now. So Right, okay, so it's machined down. We now need to get it off of this bar. Ow, that's hot. So what we've done, I've got it gripped in a piece of old serpentine belt, and I've reheated the bar. The problem is that as it cools down, it shrinks, and the whole thing grips itself solid, and you can't turn it. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we get Mr. Makita on the end of the now hot piece of rod and unscrew. Hey! So now that's done, we're going to need to get ourselves a bit of slop. For this we have a bodged together handmade tab made from a piece of this all thread. It's made from the scrappy end, slotted with the angle grinder, and basically we're going to feed that in like so. This is cold, and feed it in nice and gently, and then again Mr. Makita. And he's going to go backwards and forwards. Well, forwards and backwards really. So we're back with a bit more feeding of the Mr. Makita with the homemade tap through here, and we've got a nice cold piece of steel now. We can see that this feeds through very freely, but zero end play. So basically that one is done. Now I should be honest here, I did fuck the first one up. While I was heating first time, I stopped paying attention for a couple of seconds, just at the point where everything went plastic, went melty, and the inside, well the rod went tweak like that with its own weight, and it's opened out the thread in a sort of a bell mouth form, which is utterly bloody useless. So that one got cut in half and put on the crack pile. There you go. We'll dell that onto the desk. There we go. Handy tip, these serpentine belts. So went down to the garage and borrowed one. I actually wanted to use it for the lathe, but it's too long. They make great strap wrenches, and you can hold slippery stuff really well. You just clamp it in the vise just slightly underneath and keep pulling until it goes tight. They're pretty much indestructible and fantastic, dead handy to have around. So there you go. So anyway, we're done. Now to make up another one for the Y feed, and we're all good. Cool. Catch you later.